Okay, let's be honest. You just started watching or following the Olympics, right? They've been going on for 3 weeks now. I'm not even sure for how long, but we all just started following it right now. Why is it the case? Why did you just start right now? Exactly, the drama, right? The curling drama, the other curling drama, the Norwegian biathlon, right? Drama. We are tuning in because of the drama, which shows us the Olympics are not just about athleticism, they're about analysis, forensics, spectacle. So, with that said, why do we like the spectacle so much? Is the question. Why do we like all those things? Why do we like, you know, why do we enjoy having like Mark Kennedy from Team Canada screaming F off at the Swedes, right? And we have the Canadian women, what's her name? Rachel Homan getting her stone pulled for like micro touches. And we have that Norwegian biathlete that I mentioned, right? Turning the podium into what is probably best described as a Dr. Phil episode. So what is happening here? And there are like some theories, right? That's what we do in media theories. They call it like transparency society. And this week at the Olympics basically proved it. We have 8K cameras zooming in on a curler's fingernail to see if it grazed a piece of granite. And I'm not trying to make light of it if it's a foul and cheating and it's cheating, but it just shows us that it's not all about just watching the games. It's about analyzing, finding drama behind everything. So, Saudi Cup, and welcome to another episode here for the Funkapod Mindful Media and Communication. And we're talking about what made the world go round and come together this past week. The double touch of the curling stone. Is this how you call it? A curling stone? The granite? I don't even know what's it called. So, setting the scene, right? I did it in the intro, but just very quickly to make sure we're all on the same page. We had curler Mark Kennedy from Team Canada versus Oscar Eriksson from Team Sweden. The accusation was that Kennedy was micro adjusting the stone, the curling stone, after releasing it. Right? So the Swedes accused him. They're like, it's not the first time you've done it. You keep touching the stone. And then Mark Kennedy was caught on a hot mic swearing, saying F off to the Sweden, and the Swedes are like, we're gonna show you on video later, don't you worry. Which is, I don't even know how to describe it, because on one level it's very petty, on the other level it's like, I mean, if he did it before and you're like, hey, let's just get him this time at the biggest stage possible. I mean, props for setting it up, but also I mean, you could have done something before. You could have shown the commission or the referees or whatever that's called it curling before, right? On the women's side, something similar happened. Also, Team Canada, Rachel Homan versus the umpire in this case, not a different team. And she had a stone, let me check, removed against Switzerland for the same thing, like double touch, and she claims she didn't feel it. The cameras showed that she should have felt it. The athletes are saying, well, it's the first time that they're getting called out that intensely. This has never happened before. Why is this now? Team Canada feels like they're targeted, even though it also happened to a few other athletes. So that's the sporty part behind it. But if you look at the media point of view, and that's what we do here on the podcast, right? First, I want to ask, why are they all double touching? Before I ask why do we focus on it, but why is it the case that that the athletes are always double touching even though it's not allowed? I think it's because a society accepting chance, especially right now, where it's all about optimization, it's not what we want to do, and we're not good at it, and we feel like we always have to optimize. Yeah, you optimize your IG posts to the nth degree. You optimize your emails to the nth degree, especially with AI, right? write me the perfect email and make it better, make it better, make it more engaging, make it more this, make it more that. Yeah, your captions are like this, your LinkedIn posts are like this. So it's not just athletes. Well, it's normal that athletes feel the same, of course, and on a bigger stage, you want to optimize even more. So that's understandable. So I think this double touch issue is actually kind of like a perfect metaphor right now for where we are at. Because we try to mega optimize every little thing. You know? And that said, if it's not allowed, it's not allowed. And the Swedes are right in this case. But is that actual sportsmanship? I'm not sure. Um, I'm close to saying there might be snitches, even though well deserved, well deserved. Um, but could they have chosen a different way? Could they have like mentioned it before? Probably, right? So interesting. What I know is that Team Germany beat Team Sweden, so let's move on. Um, but it's interesting to see that curling of all the sports is turning into like the dramatic society, right? The like a drama in several acts, lawfare on ice, so to speak. Um, Looking forward where this is going. I haven't been that invested in curling in a long, 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 long time. Actually, never, to be honest. But from a media and communications point of view, very interesting to see how this optimization, this obsession with optimization, it drives everybody to like a trying to bend the rules as much as possible, and B calling that out, right? And setting up extra cameras just to see it. So gone are the days of we're all sportsmen, we're just trying our best. Interesting. And this leads me to the second point, which is the confession by that Norwegian biathlete. His name Sturla Holm Lægreid. Not sure how to pronounce it. I hope that was halfway okay. But you've seen it, right? He wins bronze. He live on, and I wrote down NRK, which is in the Norwegian channel. He confessed he cheated on his girlfriend, the love of his life. Also interesting to say after knowing her for 6 months. And this was the worst week of his life, right? And what happened is that he completely overshadowed the gold medalist, who was Johan Olaf Bohn from also Team Norway, by the way. And nobody cares about Bohn's victory, and everybody just cares about Lægreid's infidelity. What makes it even worse, as far as I understood, the gold medalist, Johan Olaf Bohn, he dedicated his gold medal to a deceased team member, I believe. I hope I didn't get that wrong. That's what I read. And no one talks about that, right? Everybody just talks about the cheating bronze medalist. And since we're a media theories and communication theories podcast, I tried very hard to see which theories I'm going to apply here, but there's one obvious one, and we have to throw it at him. It's the main character syndrome theory, right? I have to talk about it because A, he's not the main character, but he wants to be, right? So he couldn't handle just being the bronze medalist, which would be amazing by itself, by the way. But he wanted to be the tragic hero that I want a medal, but I can't enjoy it. So what he did, right? He weaponizes his vulnerability. So, and we talk a lot about this in one of my classes actually right now at uni, like how the audience is part of the overall composition of the media. And he made the audience complicit in his affair, in his narration of what happened. And while he thought like, oh, I'm gonna be honest and vulnerable and everyone's gonna love me, what actually happened is that his narcissism took over. And I mean, he tried to disguise it as honesty, but it's clearly just narcissism disguised as such. And yeah, he basically hijacked the podium and tried in the same time to launch his redemption arc. And he probably thought, oh, people gonna be on my side because I'm being honest and vulnerable and gonna tell her to forgive me, which is just ridiculous, right? And I mean, it's like love bombing to the nth degree again, which is crazy. And luckily, it doesn't seem to work. So good on her. Um, but doing this on such a global stage, wow. Like, wow, what even would make one think that's okay? One wonders, right? Besides, well, main character syndrome. And since it has just been Valentine's Day, which should be another episode of like why that's terrible. Um, but it's like one of the reasons why Valentine's Day sucks, right? Because modern love, like here, like Valentine's Day, where you have like rose bouquets everywhere and whatnot, it's very similar that it's all just public performance, like private mess put into the public eye and just being performed, and no one means it. Everyone's just in there trying to look cool, trying to look like they, them, he, she, whatever, are like the best possible partner, person, whatever it might be. It's all just content. And if you, that buyer's lead, whatever, are like that and are just looking for or looking like finding a way to appear as the best person possible, then shame on you. Touch grass. And it's hard in 2026. I know. There's not much grass left to be touched. So that leads me to and yeah, this episode gonna be just very, very short because love is nice, love is good. We don't want to hate on it, but it's something that just every time I see now the Olympic feat and it's still popping up, it's still annoying, right? So when we're trying to connect the dots right now, the curlers are being watched by sensors, of course, right at that line when they let go. But now they have extra cameras installed to also like see when they're letting go. The buyer leads confessing his infidelity on camera and so on is just an example of that there's no single private space left anymore. Yeah, so nothing's private anymore. And back in the day, the Olympic Village used to be a place for discretion, right? So when I was a kid and you watch the Olympics, you're like, oh, that's so cool. They're all living together, all those athletes living together. You don't know what's going on. It must be so cool and so on. But now, if you sneeze, it's a TikTok, right? If you cheat on the ice, the sensor catches you, which of course is great because you shouldn't be cheating. But if you cheat in the bedroom, then you confess to a reporter. And something's just not stacking up here, if you see that. We kind of destroyed mystery. And without mystery, there's no seduction, no game, no fun. It's just data. And don't clip this off. I'm not saying infidelity is good. I'm not saying cheating is good. I'm just saying this all could have been handled behind closed doors. You don't need to perform for content, is what I'm saying. Okay, so that's the takeaway here. But because in 2026 everything is content, we are performing it. We're performing confronting those who are cheating. We're performing coming clean. We're performing everything. And just focus on the front stage persona, another media theory for you. Focus on the front stage persona rather than on the backstage persona, our vulnerable selves, leads to us thinking that we always have to put on that front stage persona, which takes away reality, real lives, what it actually means to be human. And it comes from someone who actually likes technology, AIs, the idea of social media, not how it is right now, but the idea of it. Yeah, so that is a big problem from my point of view, but maybe I'm just an old man yelling at clouds by now. So, yeah, wrapping things up, if you can, a challenge, try to stop double touching your life. Post something, live with it. Make a decision, stick with it. Let it go. Don't try to micro adjust every little thing all the time. Also, don't be a snitch like Sweden. If they do something wrong, confront them. Yes, tell the referee, but don't make it a performance. Don't be a narcissist like that Norwegian biathlete. Be like, be like the stone, cold, heavy, and always moving forward. Yes, that's how a German would say it. You know what I mean. Let me know what you think about all the drama, by the way. Do you enjoy that in your feed? Do you want more of it? Are you saying like, hey, it's the first time I'm interested in curling. It's cool, keep it coming. What are your thoughts? Okay, shout out in the comments, like, share, subscribe. That would be fantastic. Until then, we talk soon. Sorry, Cup.